So thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Trevor. Appreciate you, man.
You bet, man. So I've known you for a little while now. I've instantly known your wife longer, but what I really love about, or the fact that you're here, is that you have what I think is the strongest partnership in real estate and lending. It's when a husband and wife team up and like they each tackle the other.
Yeah.
You know, so that's I really want to explore that, and I love your story too. I know you're an immigrant.
Yep, from Cuba, man.
And you started with nothing, man. So I'm super excited to have you on the show and just go through your journey, man.
Thanks, bro. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm excited to share it.
So, I mean, let's start with the beginning, man. Like, how did did your immigrant story tie into it? Like, how did you start with real estate? And,
specifically?
Yeah, and also like what was it like? Did you know English when you came here? Like what was it like as an immigrant starting in this space?
So as an immigrant, I mean, in the space itself, being an immigrant didn't really tie into me pursuing real estate. But growing up, I came here not knowing any English. I actually started kindergarten and first grade not knowing any English at all. And I remember my dad saying one day I just came home and I just picked up English on my own, you know what I mean? Just being in school and watching TV. But yeah, it was tough at first. He said I would come home and I would cry because I didn't know English and kids would pick on me and stuff like that. But eventually I just figured it out and, just grew from there. And, but yeah, I mean, I think real estate, how I really got into that is just, Jess and I got together when we were 21. So we were still in college and everything. And she was renting an apartment and I was getting ready to leave my place, or my dad's place, and we didn't want to rent. We didn't want to throw our money away. So we were like, well, let's just get a place together. And if it doesn't work out, then at least we can split the proceeds, go our separate ways, and at least we make some money. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what got me into real estate. We bought a brand new home from Harmony, and I just fell in love with that new construction process, seeing everything from A to Z, and how that new home consultant took pictures of us and how we felt throughout the whole process. And right after that experience, I went to go get my real estate license and I got signed on with D.R. Horton.
Okay, so you guys, was your wife doing loans, or she was a CPA at the time, right?
No,
or studying for that?
Yeah, she was still working at Nordstrom's when I met her.
Okay.
So she was in college, going to school for accounting, and then I was at CSN, just going to school for criminal justice, and I dropped out of college. But anyway. She was going to school for accounting, and then she was a CPA for a few years before I'm the one who told her, hey, you're working like 60, 70 hours a week making 75 grand. You're smart, you're great with numbers, and you're great with people. You can just be a loan officer and make triple the money. Why don't you just do that? And then she eventually did it, and that's it. Took off from there, man.
Awesome. Right on.
Yeah.
So you guys bought that house together. I mean, that's cool. It was like a business relationship, off the jump, right?
Yeah, and it wasn't in a great area. It was off of Boulder Highway and Lake Mead, and it was a 1,400 square foot house, 1-car garage. But we just both were in that mindset of let's just get our foot in the door, and we bought it for $149, and we eventually sold it for close to $200. We used those proceeds to buy our next home, and then we just kept rolling the proceeds on and buying other homes, and eventually we paid off our home. We got a HELOC on our second home, and then we used those proceeds to buy flips, and just every time we closed on a flip, we used the proceeds to buy another flip, pay off the HELOC, buy another flip, pay off the HELOC, buy another flip, pay off the HELOC.
So you just went full on down that road, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Once I left the builders, I just went balls to the wall,
So I want to back up a little bit. I mean, I love the...
I know, I got ahead of myself.
No, it's all right, man. Like, I really want to dive into that because I'm super... it's a tough business, ultimately. Like, when it's tough to become successful, and then it's tough once you are successful.
Yeah,
right?
For sure.
It's so time-consuming and so demanding. But like growing, you went to builder, right? You just went to work for a builder, right? So now you're working like Wednesday through Sunday type of thing, something like that. And
basically, yeah. I mean, you're working 7 days a week, but still, yeah. But I was making good money, making close to $300 a year. But you're just working in a corporate. I just hated working for somebody else. I always had that itch of being an entrepreneur, just being my own boss.
So how long did you do the builders for?
So D.R. Horton for 5 years and 1 year at Lennar. I did not like Lennar. So that really, projected me. Once I worked at Lennar, I was like, okay, how do I get out of this? I was just jaded. I think I was just tired of, I was good at selling new homes, but I was just over it.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to do my own thing,
So when you transitioned to just being your own agent, what was that first year like?
The first year?
Yeah.
It was tough, man. I mean, transitioning from working at the builders to being on your own, it's like nobody's coming in. You don't got clients coming in. So the hardest part for me was generating my own business. Luckily, I went straight into the investment side. So, we would just buy our own flips and then sell them. So that was fine for a while. But it was tough. It was a tough transition, kind of figuring out what systems to use and, how to manage my own time and how to really be disciplined and, work and setting your own schedules. That was the hardest part, honestly. Yeah.
So you already had some passive, or you had some real estate investments.
Yeah.
Going by the time you left the builders.
Exactly. Yeah. So I made sure I had that going before I exited first.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So what? How did that go, man? Would you were just doing flips? Were you doing long terms, or were you doing a mix of both? Like
basically just whatever came along. Mainly flips. I'd say we did 11 flips and we got 2 rentals. So I just wanted to generate
in that 6 years.
Yeah. So basically, I just wanted to generate as much cash as possible so I can buy Airbnbs or other investments or whatever, but put money in stocks, just diversify. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
The plan was just to make as much money as possible while the market was good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. So you had 11 flips under your belt. You had 2 long-term rentals going. Yeah. You step into being your own, working for yourself as an agent.
Yeah.
How did you? I mean, that must have been nice having like a little bit of cushion, right? And your wife was she doing loans yet?
At that point, yeah.
She was doing,
she was
doing loans.
She was doing really good loans.
Okay, cool.
So that helped too. I had her still making money while I was, starting a new venture.
You guys, because like you guys would get things going and then stop another thing and move it. Like that's
always just rearrange the puzzle pieces, man.
Yeah, that's freaking smart, man.
Yeah.
So you get into growing your own sales business, right?
Yeah.
Real estate sales and managing and working with buyers at first. What did you do to start getting traction?
Where did you start getting traction? I would just hit up my old people that I sold to at Deerhorn and Lennar, to be honest.
Yeah.
And then just friends and family, and then it just kind of grew from there. I mean, I had all the relationships built. Luckily, in my situation, I had the 6 years of relationships from the builders. So I would just ask, hey, whenever you're ready to sell, or if you have anybody looking to buy, if you had a good experience with me, I'm in general now. So just kind of farming my past clients.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
Was Jessica pitching in as well? Like sending you? No. So
we never, honestly, man, we didn't start working together until this year. I mean, she's really had her own realtors that she's worked with, and I've been doing my own thing out for a while. Yeah. So she has 4 realtors that she kind of gives leads to, and then I just kind of, I've been doing my own thing for a while, but now she gives me leads. Yeah.
Now she's giving. Now she's finally giving you leads.
All right, I need some leads now.
Are you splitting it too? Splitting the cost with her? Or?
Yeah. Well, it's all in the same household, but yeah, we split the cost. Yeah. But yeah, for a long time, she would just pay for the leads and just divvy it out to other realtors to grow her business.
Sure.
Because I had my own farm that I could farm. You know what I mean?
Sure. Would you send her business?
Yeah, I would send her my business, but I told her, hey, you focus on you because you're brand new into this. I told her your lifeline is going to be realtors. If you can get realtors to give you business, you won't need to go out and hustle. And now she has realtors just calling her at home. Sure. She doesn't even leave the house. Yeah.
Right.
I told her just work hard now. So she would go to open houses every weekend. That's what I told her. Hey, go meet realtors at open houses and tell them what you can do and tell them how available you are and you used to be a CPA and sell yourself. And she did, and now she's got really good realtors to just sending her business. Yeah.
So you were farming your past clients predominantly or exclusively?
Pretty much that's all I did. Yeah, because I mean they already like you, they know you, they want to work with you. Sure. You know what I mean? Why not? Yeah.
You ever dabble with paid leads or anything, or you just strictly went referral based?
Strictly referral, man. Nice. And then doing flips, referrals and flips.
Referrals and flips.
Yeah.
All right. So how long? So that you did your 6 years. You built up some passive revenue. You got a nice referral base that you could tap into when you went into being a general agent.
Yeah.
And so how long ago was that?
How long ago? 4 years now.
4 years ago.
Time flies. Yeah, 4 years ago.
Okay. So that first year, so 2019 was when you first did it.
That's when I really left Lennar and jumped into it.
So how many transactions was that first year for you?
I only had about including flips or not including flips?
Not including flips.
Not including flips, 4.
And then you were selling your own flips too.
And then I was selling my own flips.
And you were managing the flips too, I suspect.
Yeah. So I managed it. So I bought it. So I got paid on the buying side, and then I listed it on my own, so I didn't have to pay a listing agent. Sure. So I handled everything myself. Yeah,
okay.
On the flips.
How many flips did you do that year?
Flips that year I did 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like 11 transactions, but then you double-ended the flips, right?
Yeah.
So
and then I have my investments and
Sure. All right. And so last year, how many transactions?
Last year, 2022, not including flips?
Not including flips.
I would say I had 9 total.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how much time are you spending on your database, going through your referrals and digging for business?
How much time? I'm not, honestly, man, I should be spending more, but maybe like a few hours a week. You know?
So you're pretty casual with it, man.
I'm pretty casual with it, man. Yeah.
And you got like a deal a month coming in.
Yeah. Just because I've built a good referral base. People like me and they just want to use me and they refer me out. And I know I shouldn't lean too much on that. I'm trying to, I just started my YouTube channel and all that stuff. Now I'm starting to get into, social media and all that and actually going and getting business. But yeah, for a long time I've just been relying on people coming to me.
Awesome, man. This is like what I preach to people. Like if you invest in real estate, then you don't have to get up and like hunt every day.
If you invest in people, bro, that's what I say. Like, people use me because they know I'm not bullshitting them and they know I'm not trying to like stuff a house down their throat. Like, if there's a house that they want and I don't think it's a good fit for them, I'll tell them, hey man, that's not a good fit for you. Or maybe talk to my wife and she'll give you a couple loan options and then we'll figure out what's best for you. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to stuff something down their throat because later on they're going to be pissed off and they're going to think about you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're the agent that sold the house.
For sure.
Yeah.
So how do you like doing flips, man? I mean, it sounds like that's quite a bit of work, isn't it?
Yeah, yes and no. I think the hardest part about doing flips was finding a good contractor. I think once you have a good contractor, then it's pretty smooth sailing. You know what I mean? Okay. For the most part. Because, I mean, I was already in the business before, so I already had my title company set up. My lender, obviously, I had my lender set up. I had my title set up. The hardest part was just finding deals and contractor. Deals.
Sure.
Yeah.
Deals and
contractor. But I'm really good at getting deals on MLS, man. I don't know what it is, but I'm really good about finding the motivation of the sellers. And I'll just ask agents, like, hey, why is this guy selling? And a lot of times, like, it's a divorce or they have to leave because they're military or whatever the situation is. I just ask them straight up, like, hey, like, I'm an investor. I don't sugarcoat it when I call them, like, hey, I'm an investor. I'm looking to get a deal. Would your seller be willing to negotiate? And I can pay cash. And I just kind of, work together with that listing agent. And it works out for me.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's
and wholesalers. I go to wholesalers a lot.
You got some wholesalers under your belt too.
Yeah.
So you do, like, now that you have a good GC, do you even have to manage too much of the no?
Not really, because he sends me pictures, from A to Z, and then he kind of already knows what I like. You know what I mean? And he's the same guy that did the Airbnbs and everything. So
yeah.
And now he's not even a GC anymore, but he still does
he's your guy.
Yeah, he still does GC work for me.
Right.
Now he owns a plumbing company, but he still doesn't work for me. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you got how many long-term rentals do you have now?
3 now, and I'm gonna sell another one off probably next month. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What are you gonna do with it? With the money?
Just pay off a HELOC. Okay. Yeah, we spent a lot of savings between those 2 Airbnbs that we recently bought, so I want to, get some cash coming back in, lower our debt. So,
yeah, Airbnb's Las Vegas, man. That sounds kind of risky, dude.
Yeah, a little risky. You know a little about it.
Yeah, dude.
It's been. I think it's good if you do. I mean, just the profit margins on the luxury real estate here in Las Vegas, man, it's sick.
Yeah.
I mean, this month, I looked at both of ours. We're bringing in close to 35 between Bronco and El Dorado. It's like you can't get that anywhere else. That return on your money. It's just you got to be willing to put up with code enforcement crawling up your ass, and you got to do it right. I mean, as long as you mitigate your risk, like doing the noise monitors and setting strict rules, I think you'll be okay. But still, if you got a shitty neighbor, they could rat you out. You know what I mean?
That is 100% true, man. That's what's tough, dude. Yeah. It's crazy. Like in even in towns where it's perfectly fine the next day, the local legislatures, it might be a town of like 3,000 people. They could decide.
Yeah, I don't want it anymore.
Yeah,
it's like, why? If I'm responsible with my property, what do you have to do with what I don't know.
Well, regulatory issues aside, I mean the short-term rentals seem to be doing a lot better than those long-term ones, huh? For
100%.
Cash flow. Yeah,
I'm making 3x or more what I could make on a long-term rent.
Yeah.
Yeah, way better.
Yeah.
If you're looking for a short-term rental here in Vegas, hit up Trevor.
I will tell you how risky it is. That's for sure. And
to be honest with you,
that's where I start, man. And then here's some other places that maybe the returns aren't as good, but they're still pretty good, and they won't be knocking on your door all the time. Yeah,
right. Arizona, Florida,
All right, so no one I don't want to get you in trouble because maybe some bureaucrat decides to watch this, right? So without divulging too much information, and knowing what you know now about the regulatory risk in Las Vegas, would you wish you'd have looked elsewhere? Do you wish you'd have looked outside the state?
You know what, man? Sometimes I think about it and I think yes, but when I see that deposit hit my bank account, I'm like, nah, it's worth it. You know what I mean? It's great returns here in Vegas, and if the county would just ease up on the regulations, which who knows if they will or when.
Right. Yeah.
It'd be great because I'd gladly pay for license. Or
I know, right?
You know, no big deal. Because you know me, I love to do it responsibly. We have good properties, so
I would happily pay a tax to operate my Airbnb.
Right.
Happily.
Extortion, sure. Whatever.
Yeah, no problem. You know.
Take my money, take my 5%. Sure.
Yeah, you know, I feel you, man. Yeah, maybe one day it'll come around. I'm optimistic, dude, that down the road that property rights will prevail. But
yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, they know they're doing it illegally, and they're just banking on us not fighting for it. You know what I mean? So.
I guess, man. I don't know. Yeah. But if no one stands up for some type of property rights, then
they're gonna be gone.
They'll just be gone, man.
Yeah, they'll be able to knock on your door and check your house and do whatever they want, just like Cuba or wherever. So,
tell me, what's your retirement plan?
Retirement plan? Yeah. Real estate, man. I want to keep buying more Airbnbs. I mean, that's really what Jessica and I have been talking about. Just buying Airbnbs all over the country, and maybe some in other countries, and just places that we want to travel to first, obviously, sure. And that are cash flowing. But that's really the plan, man. Just invest in more real estate, whether it's flips or long-term rentals, mid-term rentals, short-term rentals, anything. I mean, that real estate's the best asset in my opinion. Not the stock market, not Bitcoin, not any of that stuff.
100%.
Yeah, it may be slower growth. I mean, it's not going to be like 2020 every year, but you're going to get a good return on your money. You know what I mean? And tax breaks.
It's not get rich fast; it's get rich for sure.
Right. Exactly.
As long as you grind at it. Yeah. Do you have like a time horizon for the day that you just don't need to work and you just travel all the time or something?
We always say 40. We always say 40, but I mean, I'm sure something else will come along because we can't retire at 40. Obviously, we got to keep working, figure out something else.
I guess it's just like get up every day and do precisely whatever it is you want that day, right?
That's a good way to put it. Like by 40, I want to have, I call it FU money to like kind of do what you want. You know what I mean? Like I could work, I could not work, I can do this, or I can start this business, and if it fails, no big deal because I got cash flow coming in. You know what I mean? Just the freedom to do whatever you want. By 40.
That's kind of what I keep going to too, man. 40, maybe 45 at the most.
Yeah.
Depending on if I want to be a millionaire or a billionaire, right?
Yeah. Goals change.
So you guys bought your first house at 19.
No, I wish. 21.
Or 21.
21. Yeah.
And so you're on track to be FU money.
By 40.
By 40.
Yeah.
From the sounds of it.
From that first house.
Since that first house.
It was $149,000. That first little house kind of projected us from there.
Yeah. 19 years.
Yep. Yeah. 19
Get rich slow.
Yeah. And it's not even slow. I mean, I'm 32 now, so I mean.
It's not, dude. You got a lot of life left when you're 40.
Yeah. My dad got to this country when he was 30, so it's like, I'm way ahead.
Man, that's it's inspiring, man. That's cool, dude.
Yeah. And I can dive into more of my story too if you want.
What do you want? I want to hear it. Let's hear it.
I mean, you kind of heard on the YouTube channel, but yeah, basically when I was 4, my dad just had an idea with his cousin and 2 buddies, like, hey, I had enough of this communism. I want to search for a better life. And he built a motor for the raft that they were going in, and he left in the middle of the night at around 3 o'clock in the morning. He told me he went over to the Malecon, it's called. It's kind of like the Bay Area in Cuba, and he set the raft off. And about 2 miles out, he said the motor broke, so they just had to start rowing. So they rowed all the way down to Key West, and he got picked up by the Coast Guard over there, and he spent 18 months in Guantanamo. And the funny part of the story is, not funny, I say funny, but in the meantime, while he was in Guantanamo, my grandma got a visa from her brother, and so her brother got a visa for my grandma, me, and my mom to go to New Jersey, where he was at the time. And it's crazy that this guy spent the money because he's tight with money. Like this guy, it's like a blessing from God that this guy spent the money to bring us to the United States, because he wouldn't spend money on a Coca-Cola. Like he would ration out Cokes when I went to go see him. But he brought us to the States, and we actually went to New Jersey first. We got to the States first, and then my dad met us up there when I was 5 years old. But anyway, he was working construction up there, $4 an hour in the winter. He fucking hated it. And he said, you know what? Well, his cousin called him from Vegas because, you know, the casinos were booming at the time. He's like, hey, there's work. Do you want to come down here? He packed the family. He said, yeah. He packed the family up, and we've been here ever since. It's in Vegas. I grew up playing baseball. And
why did they let him out of Guantanamo Bay?
Well, I don't know. Clinton had some law. If Cubans were rescued on American waters, then they had to do their time in Guantanamo, and then they got their visas or their green cards. I don't know, some law that Clinton put back in 94, 95. Yeah.
That's a good deal.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, my dad had like be with criminals and stuff, fight for showers, he said. But yeah, I mean, it was worth it to him, you know, to not be in Cuba anymore. That's just like the perspective of an immigrant, you know what I mean? Like, the United States is the best country in the world, man. Everybody wants to come here. There's opportunity here.
Does that make you first generation or zero? Right.
I think my daughter's first generation because I was born in Cuba.
You were born in Cuba.
Yeah.
So how old were you?
4 when I left. Yeah. Yeah.
Dang, man.
Yeah, and then I came here to Vegas.
Do you remember?
No, not from when I was a baby, but my parents took me back a few times, and I'm really glad they did, because when you go back and you see that misery, dude, and like the look on everybody's eyes, and there's just the flies on kids' faces, and like everybody just, there's no food, there's no water, there's no nothing. It really makes you appreciate what you got. You know, it makes you want to work harder.
Does that make you like kind of like? Does that make you a little bit more passionate about your?
100%, and it's not even passionate about me wanting to be better. It's about just what's the word I want to use? Just being better for my parents, because they sacrificed so much, man. Like my dad literally sacrificed his life for me to have a better life, so I can't let him down. You know what I mean? Not that I would ever, but you know, it makes you more grateful. I think that's the word.
I'm sure. Yeah, no doubt. Well, and what I meant was, you know, because you there's a lot of people that get into short-term renting.
Oh yeah.
Which, you know, I know you're in, and I'm in, and we've done a little bit of deals together and stuff. And you know, a lot of people are risk averse towards because of the uncertainty in the industry because it's so young, and then other people are, you know, a second set of risk aversion is the regulatory risk, right? Because like they either are super restrictive or they could be at any moment, and like you're one of those few people that's just like I kind of don't care.
No, I don't.
Right?
Yeah.
Is that, and I'm wondering if that's like where it comes from. It's just like you seem a little bit passionate about your property rights and just doing it.
Just from seeing what rights you don't have in Cuba. Like I said, like I'm really passionate about property rights, and my mom's always been really passionate about real estate, and she's always told me like, hey, if a deal makes sense, do it. My mom actually is an Airbnb host. She's a super
for real?
Yeah, and she paid off her house doing Airbnbs. So that's kind of how I learned. Oh yeah, it's funny. I never even told you the story. So she made 2 studios within her home without any permits or anything. If anybody for the county is listening, I didn't say that. So she just hired a contractor herself after my parents are divorced. My parents are divorced, so this is all herself. She made 2 units. She made a unit in her garage and the back right corner of her house into an Airbnb. And all that cash flow has helped her pay off her house. She doesn't have a mortgage anymore. So that's kind of how I got introduced into Airbnb and all that stuff. And yeah, my mom's always been a proponent of, if you got an idea, if you think it's good, just go for it. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Damn, dude.
Yeah. So she really drilled that into my mind.
I didn't expect this intent for this conversation to turn into praising the short-term rental space in general. And I'm kind of glad it did, dude. That's cool,
I never told you that story. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Is she still hosting?
Yeah, still hosting. She's a super host. She's got a 4.98 rating. I mean, she's been doing it for 6-7 years now, for a long time. Yeah.
Dang. Does she take on other people's properties or?
No, just hers. Just because she
hers.
doesn't speak English or anything. So, but yeah, she uses that Google Translator. And she just talks to her own guests and she cleans her own units. I mean, she's a hustler, man.
Does she do anything else, or is that all she's doing?
She still works at the casino. So my mom and dad have both been working at Mandalay Bay for 22 years now, since they opened, pretty much. Yeah. So yeah, she just does that. And she makes more money off Airbnb than her actual job.
Why is she still working her actual? She's just a hustler.
She just likes to work, and she'd be bored if she didn't do anything else. Yeah, she's a hustler, and she's always sold jewelry when I was growing up. She's always sold something. So I guess now that I think about it, I get my sales aptitude from my mom. Yeah, more than my dad, and I get my grittiness from my dad. My dad's a hard worker. He's just never been in like sales and stuff like that, but he's a tough guy. Yeah.
Dang. Does it do you see like how hard they're working? It's funny with that generation. There's like I feel like they can do that their whole life, and I look at that and I'm like,
I don't want to do that.
I don't want to do it. Like,
God bless them. I mean,
know
that's great that they did that. Again, they did it for me and to get ahead in their life. But I want to make my money work for me. That's where you want to be.
For sure. For sure, man. Well, I'm super excited to like continue to see your journey, man, and kind of see our paths parallel each other too. At times, man, it's fun doing work with you, dude. So
you too, man. Yeah, I love it.
Thanks for coming on, dude, and chatting about all that.
Of course.
Is there anything else you want? Well, first of all, before we finish, is if people want to work with you, right, as an agent, because for buying or selling, what's the best way for them to get a hold of you?
Well, my Instagram's just Jandy Eiroa, so Jandy Eiroa, Las Vegas Realtor. That's my Instagram. But can I say my phone number?
Sure, yeah.
So my phone number is 702-771-3677. Email is just jandy@schofieldrealty.com. Or my Facebook, just Jandy Eiroa, Eiroa. I mean, I'm the only Jandy Eiroa out there, so you'll find me.
You might be the only Jandy, and like
I met one other Jandy in Miami in my life, and he was Cuban. So
to clarify for anyone that's listening to this whole episode and thought you were Andy,
yeah, it's Andy with a J. I always say. Yeah.
I think you might be the only one, man. I think it took me like a year before I finally started calling you either way.
Dude, everybody has like 4 different names for me. I've heard Andy, I've heard Jandy, I've heard Handy, I've heard Randy. Somebody calls me. I'm like, whatever you want to call me, I don't care.
I thought your email was like your wife's first,
I get that too. It's like, hey, is that your middle name, Andy, and then something else in the front? No,
that's my name, bro.
Yeah, that's my name. Sorry.
Right on. Well, look, before I let you go, man, anything else you want to get it sounded like you had some things to get off your chest there, man, and I'm glad you did, dude. Yeah. Is there anything else?
No, I think I got everything off my chest.
Dang. Dude, that's awesome. Thanks for coming on, bro.